Anyway,
Sorry.
all right, are you ready?
I know I'm such a bitch, but I mean...
Oh, please. I'm a bitch, too.
I was like, and inside my mind, I'm like, stop it, Stephanie, stop it. So I'm like,
I can't help myself.
and then after that, I'm just like, everything she said, I was like...
You make me want to throw up.
I'm like, ugh, can you leave already? You don't belong here.
Who are you?
Yes.
You can't sit with us.
It's like, your boobs are big, but they're weird. Your whole self is weird.
I know. All right.
Because I oftentimes sympathize with other big boob girls. Like, God,
I
girl,
totally
I feel
do.
you. Yeah, you know, I mean, it sucks.
Yes.
People think it's, oh, yeah, you're so lucky. I'm like, you have no idea. I'm like, no. There's no luck about it.
No,
It
it's
sucks.
fun, but it's not fun.
Not fun.
Sloppy boobs are hard. Okay. Yeah. Are you ready?
Yep.
All right, here we go.
Do you know what episode we're on?
Yes, I do. It is Welcome to the Ugly Truth. This is episode 530. Ugh. Welcome. Stephanie is my sister. I am Jamie. Welcome to the Ugly Truth if you're a new listener, because we're getting some new downloads. I don't know where you people are coming from, but welcome to the Ugly Truth. We are actual siblings, not
Welcome to our madness.
sisters.
No.
Which I'd be cool with, or sisters, we're those two, but we're actually
We are
sisters.
biologically related by the same mother and father.
Yes, we are. So welcome. So Daryl took me out on a date on Thursday.
Why?
He knows how much I love the Fast and Furious franchise.
Oh, God. Jerry and I were literally just talking about that the other day. I'm like, what are we on? Like 12? And then it said F9. And he's like, 9? He's like, there's 9 of those?
They're
like,
so fun to watch.
I was watching the trailer. I'm like, they're all old. I'm like,
okay, it's true, but they're great.
And then they bring in these young people to like make it better.
They're rejuvenating the franchise for sure. Anyway, so
I just can't.
He said, "Hey, would you like to go to the movies?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'd love to go to the movies." He goes, "Well, Fast and Furious comes out on Thursday." I'm like, "Let's go!" I mean, there's no other way to see the Fast and Furious shows,
but in the theater,
other than in the theater,
it's
because
great.
of
It's
the stunts,
loud
and the stunts are unbelievable.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
it's kind of like Jurassic Park in my mind.
Here's the deal. I know what Fast and Furious is. I know what the franchise is, but the reality is that...
And the guy is dead, and that's the thing. Like,
Paul Walker?
Yes, and I know he wasn't the whole movie.
He wasn't.
But he was a big part of it.
He wasn't in the first few, of course, but the cameos that they get in this thing...
Oh, yeah. Are they great?
Helen Mirren was in it.
I love cameos.
She's been in it before.
Yeah.
So she made a cameo appearance. Cardi B was in it, and she's badass.
Cute.
I fucking love Cardi B, so she was in it.
She's hilarious.
And then, Charlize Theron is the bad guy.
Oh, great.
So she's been in the last 3.
I forgot that she was in there, and I love her.
And then John Cena is the long-lost brother. I mean, Ludacris and Tyrese are the comedic... The comic relief, and they're always really great.
Yeah.
Their relationship is good. Anyway, so we went and we watched it, and this has happened every time I've gone to see Fast and Furious in the theaters. We always see it on opening night. It's just something I love to do. So we go, and there is just these groups of dudes
that are like, yeah,
who go in together, usually Hispanic.
And all their cars are parked next to each other when they come out.
No, it's something like that, but they're usually Hispanic, or it's a dad with his little boy, and they're there.
That's
and
cute.
It's a really cool vibe when you go the night of opening night. So we sat down, and I felt
but
like...
isn't it adult-ish?
No.
Really? There's no swearing and sex and all of that?
No sex at all.
Because I feel so awkward when
there's no sex at all. If there's some swear words, I can't
I don't mind the
remember
swear
them.
words as long as there's no sex. With my child.
There's
with my child.
literally no. It is no
If they
one
do
has
anything
sex.
sexual at all and Jeff's in the room, I immediately get like sweaty.
The reason
I get weird.
The reason I don't think there's sex is, first of all these people are a family.
Yeah.
And they're not related, but they're family.
Well, they have had romantic...
It's very minimal.
But not...
They're like siblings, and so that's the big underlying theme of all these films.
Right.
And so there's a couple of surprises I'm not going to say, because it reverts back to a few of the other movies in the past. There's a lot of throwback and...
Yeah, I bet there
and
is.
Stuff. Anyway, super fun. I got popcorn, and I was like a little nervous, because I'm like, I haven't been out...
In so long.
And no one's wearing masks because we're all vaccinated, right?
Yeah, when I went to O Cafe, I was like, I had my mask in my hand.
Yeah.
I'm like, literally no one.
You can wear it if you want to.
No one had one on.
I will say, with this new variant coming out, there are places where we'll likely put it on, even though I don't have to wear it.
They're saying that our vaccine is covering it so far.
You just won't die. You will get sick, but you won't get like deathly ill. So I don't know. It's a crapshoot. Tyler was giving me so much shit. He's like, "God damn it, Mom. And I'm like, what? I go, I don't have to wear a mask. And he's like, you have to wear a mask. I'm like, do you wear a mask? He goes, 100%. And I'm like,
did he get a vaccine?
Yeah, he's vaccinated. And I go, what are you so worried about? He's like, I am not going to get sick at all. And I'm like, all right, cool. I mean, there are definitely times when I will feel more comfortable wearing a mask than not. And there are a lot of stores who still require it. So I bring
My grocery store does. Well,
my grocery store does.
The sign says if you're not please wear a mask for our unvaccinated customers. And now that's turning into a thing, by the way.
Really? Because I read it and it said, wear a mask if you're not vaccinated.
That's what it said. Yeah.
But I am vaccinated.
I know, but I'm saying so that's turning into a thing because, okay, I do the union thing at work.
Yeah.
So if they're trying to decide if they're going to impose that same rule.
Oh.
But if you wear a mask, then everybody knows you're not vaccinated.
Or you're hyper liberal.
No, well, the idea is, okay, if you have a mask on, then that means we know you're not vaccinated, and that could be a HIPAA violation.
You know what's so weird? Here's what fucking sucks about this. We've painted ourselves into a corner. Because now, if you don't wear a mask, people assume that you're a Trumpy, or you're either Trumpy or vaccinated.
Right.
Or and if you wear one, you're either Trumpy or not vaccinated. Like, there's no win.
Yeah.
You cannot win.
I feel like walking around with a button on that says, I'm vaccinated, all right?
Like, you want to say, Jesus fucking Christ, I have the shot.
Yes, but I'm still wearing the mask because it just feels weird sometimes depending on where I am.
I wore a mask to the grocery store and I didn't read the sign properly. I thought it just said, please wear a mask in the store.
Yeah.
So I wore a mask and I was getting all these weird looks. And I'm like, why am I getting all these weird looks? And they're like,
and it's like 50-50 when you look around.
She's not vaccinated.
I know. Same.
I am.
In fact, I took mine off in somewhere because I was like, I think everybody's looking at me thinking I'm not vaccinated. I'm like, I'm vaccinated.
It's so stupid.
I'm going to get a tattoo of a Band-Aid on my arm.
Oh my God. I'm just so irritated by the whole thing because this is not even political. This is just dumb versus smart now.
It is.
I'm sick of it. Anyway, yes. I digress. It was fun. Nobody in the theater was wearing a mask. Actually, a little kid was wearing one, which I thought was nice.
They can't get it. They can't get the vaccine.
Not yet. You're right. They're too young. But anyway, everybody else, and you know what? Everyone has their mask on their wrist.
Just in case.
I think that's I think that's what I might do. That might be my move, is I'll have it so that you know that I'm completely okay with wearing it.
I'm prepared to wearing it.
But I don't have to. So I think that's going to be my thing. I think I'm just going to wear the mask around my wrist. I'm actually pretty nervous. I got a little apprehensive and I don't know why.
It's just different.
I was waiting in line with 40 other people. We were all kind of just normal and everybody was really quiet though. Nobody was just like, opening their mouths and it was like everyone was kind of quiet, slightly whispering to one another, but it was just like, isn't this? I think everybody was doing the same thing. Isn't it weird that we're all here without masks?
Yeah, it's very strange.
So luckily with theaters now,
I said when pandemic hit, I'm like, this is almost like a dream come true for me.
I know.
I'm not lying. I'm like, I get to stay home.
I know.
I don't have to be around people
ever.
And then when we are in public, they have to stay away from me.
It's awesome.
I'm like, it's the best. So now that we're going back, I'm like,
we're back to this, are we? All right.
Yeah, now I have to be around you and talk to you.
Awesome. And I have to wear lipstick again.
Right. And the mask was great for hiding, all kinds of things.
Dude,
dirty looks on your face when you hate someone, breath. So you don't have to smell other people.
Although I have to say, that mask, that will correct your dental hygiene in a minute.
Oh, 100%. Right. I mean, I was always pretty anal about that, but honestly...
but it doesn't matter. If you forget and you had coffee and then you put your mask on, and you're like, holy shit.
Yeah, well,
give me a gum!
I had mint and gum in my purse since pandemic started.
Always.
Like, always. Yeah,
me too.
But I don't know if you do this too, before pandemic, if I saw someone with questionable hygiene coming towards me in a store, I would hold my breath as I was approaching. Like, before I got close enough, and then pass them by, and then I'm like, just in case.
Yeah.
I'm like, you look like you might have BO. I don't know.
There was this one gentleman, I was in the grocery store, and we were in the bean aisle, and he looked fine.
In the bean aisle?
He looked fine.
Oh, many do.
And then I walked...
It's shocking.
I went to go grab something, and he had the most discernible body odor I had ever encountered. And I'm like...
For Christ's sakes, put some deodorant on, man!
Pre-mask. And I'm like, you look really great, but you stink. And I was just like, holy shit. And I just walked away. I'm like, no.
That's what I'm telling you. I don't like to be surprised. I will wait,
because that odor will stay when he leaves, so I got to give it a minute, and then I'll return and get whatever cannellini bean I needed. Jesus, I was so annoyed.
I have averted aisles when I've seen someone around like, I don't know. You look like you have butt funk.
And the grocery store we go to is right by the river where people go rafting. Yeah. And so that's the store where everybody goes.
Sweaty.
Well, they go there to buy all of their goods for the raft or for the whatever they're going to do on the river. And so this is the season where those questionable characters come in.
Absolutely.
One time I came in, I had a Raiders hat on, and I was just living my life, my normal business, because I'm a Raider fan, hardcore. Yeah, so I was just wearing a Raider fan, and some skanky fucking hoe was standing by the sushi, and she was giving me a look like she either knew me or she wanted to kick my ass, and I just stopped and I gazed at her an extra long time. I'm like, what? And I mouthed her, I'm like, bring it on.
Like, what's your problem?
Like, why are you challenging me in the fucking grocery store in the bakery?
She was a 49ers fan.
I don't know.
Most likely.
She was tiny, and I'm like, I will kill you.
Yeah.
Please come over here. And Daryl's like, what's happening? And I'm like, oh, nothing.
I don't know. But...
And then she turned, and she was with 2 other people, and they weren't going to do shit. And I'm like, what is this? I'm old. I am not interested in getting into a scrap at the fucking grocery store, you bitch.
Like, you have no idea how short my patience level is for twats like you.
What I would probably do is I'd grab her by whatever little tattered hair she had and fling her outside and kill her outside. I wouldn't do it in the store.
Yeah, you're like trying to be respectful while you're being a mongrel. I'd be like, excuse me,
everyone. I'm sorry. I need to deal with this carpet lint that's here. God. Right. I'm like, yeah, and I was like, God, I'm old. Who do I think I am?
Well, me and my friends do this all the time at work. We're like, would we really kick someone's ass?
Yes.
We talk about it. Yeah, like we feel it.
I've done it.
But I'm like, if we went to go do it, we'd be like,
no. Oh, hell no.
I know. I think the wrath is pretty strong.
People just don't know the violence. It takes nothing to drive me to violence. Okay, so a couple weeks ago, Daryl and I had planned a weekend. It's just an overnight weekend stay.
Yes, I remember.
With our hairdresser, Greg, and his husband.
Yes.
And so it was like the kickoff of Pride Weekend. It was a really...
oh, my God.
June is great, first of all, for that.
Yes.
Napa goes all out.
Oh, of course.
There's flags. There's, it's every, Pride,
so fun, right?
Friendly, love is love everywhere, and it's super fun. And so... First of all, let me just say how incredibly fun they are to party with.
Oh, I bet.
We had so much fun.
You guys have done a couple things with them, right?
No, this is the first time.
I thought you've been to dinner and stuff.
No, this is the first time we've done anything. Oh, we did go wine. I take that back.
Wait.
A couple years ago, we did do a quick wine tasting thing, but it was cut short just because we had a driver, and we spent more time getting there than we did. It was just, we wanted to do it again. So this was like the make good. So we met. We checked in.
Did you guys stay at the same hotel?
Yes. We were actually neighbors, which was hilarious.
By accident?
No, on purpose. It was fine.
Okay.
It was fine.
Yeah, no, it's great.
And so we get there, we check in, we go to the first stop, which is called Brasswood in St. Helena. I highly recommend it. They know the owner. He actually...
So are they wine snobs like you guys?
Yes, a little bit. And so, but they're big on white and rosé, where we're red drinkers.
Yeah.
But there's some rosés that we actually love very much.
Rosé's rather trendy right now.
It is, but it's also delicious.
It is delicious. I love it.
Some of it is very good. So anyway, we go to Brasswood. Well, Greg happens to know the owner. They worked together 100 years ago in Sacramento. This gentleman, who is like a couple years younger than me, he's your age actually, went to Del Campo.
Shut up.
Which is down the street. And I'm like, how did you end up here? He owns the winery.
Was it family money?
No.
How do you know?
Because we had a long discussion with him about everything.
Oh, okay. Was it like he just invested and he got...
He just was in love with the culinary world.
But it requires a large amount of money.
I'm sure he had investors.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, he was able to... And you know what? Maybe he does come from money. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But anyway... His wife is from Kauai. I mean, they're an amazing family, an amazing couple. They've been in St. Helena since like 1992 or something, like forever. And so anyway, he's giving us the full tour. We had the full tasting. We had lunch there. It was delicious.
Oh, that's so fun.
The whole thing was so great. And we're like, Greg, thank you. This was so amazing. He goes, isn't he great? I'm like, this is great. You
guys were VIP. That's awesome.
We were a little VIP that day. Well, what was great is I was bragging to him about our daughter who just got accepted to CIA. It's literally, you could almost walk
right
there.
Down the street.
You could almost walk there.
Yeah.
And he said, when she needs a job, when she comes here, let me know. And we're like, okay. And so we're like, Mackenzie.
Well, once she starts going to school there, she should go there.
And he told us, he goes, my word of advice to her would be to get to know your chefs very, very well. Because they know
everyone. Are you kidding me? Napa's not big.
It's not.
It's small.
Not. In fact, he knows all the chefs we were mentioning. He knows who she's working for now.
Yeah. Oh, really?
He knows,
she's working for a pretty prestigious...
He knows who she worked for before. Like, he knows everybody.
Okay, sweet.
Because he used to work for the Sellens, who own the kitchen in Sacramento. First Michelin star rated restaurant in Sacramento. And so she's working for that company. And she gets to help taste and prepare options for the kitchen.
That's so great.
But there's a chef who actually does the desserts, but she gets to assist with that. And so for
the fact
her,
that she's even there is she's young.
And she's so young. She's the youngest one there. And
which is so great.
I can't stop bragging about it. I'm so excited.
Is the best.
Yes.
Especially when you're talented.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
I'm like so excited for her. We talk about it all the time every day. We're like, we can't wait till you go. It's going to be so great. Anyway.
When does she go?
January.
Oh, okay.
So 6 months.
Feels like forever.
But we have to find her place to live and all that other stuff.
Are you working on it now?
Yes, we are. Anyway, so we did that. And then we drove back to our hotel. We checked in. We rejuvenated. And then we walked to our dinner because it's not that far of a walk. So anyway, the whole way, so we're walking back from dinner. We also had an amazing wine tasting at John Anthony Vineyards, which
you guys must have been rather toasty.
We weren't yet, but we did the John Anthony Vineyards, which, by the way, if you get an opportunity to go to their tasting room, it's downtown Napa right next to the Archer. It's in this new rejuvenated area. Oh my God, it's so fun. So we did that, and we got VIP there because Daryl happens to work with them in the media world, and so they're like, oh, we'll set you up. So we got a private room. Oh my God. Stephanie, it was amazing.
You were like, this is just getting better by the minute.
It was so great. And then we had dinner, which was fun, and the thing I love about Greg and Glenn is they are just as judgy as me. So
thank God.
When girls would walk in, because there was a lot of young girls together, big packs of them, and so because it's the first really free weekend, everybody's maskless, everybody's happy celebrating. So
the weather was fab.
It was beautiful. So we're sitting at this table, and we have a full view of everybody walking in and out of the place. And I'm like, oh, that's something. And Greg looks and he goes, holy shit. He's like, why did she think she could pull that off? I'm like, I don't know. He's like, she can't even walk in those shoes. They're so tall. She's wibble wobbling all over the place. I'm like, I know. It was all of that. We were tasting each other's cocktails, food, everything.
Oh, wow.
So we walk back. And we are feeling good, but it's like 9:30. And things start to close early.
They
just do. But there's a couple of bars if you know where to find them. So we're walking back towards our hotel because there's a bar under our hotel. So we're walking back, and this pack of drunk girls walks by us on the sidewalk. And this one girl stops, and she looks at me. She is hammered.
Oh, God.
And she's like, can I ask you a question?
Oh, no.
And I'm like a little hammered, too. And I'm like, what? And she's like, you don't have to be so rude. And she, like, runs away. And
what was she going to ask you?
And then her friends are all, Jessica! She's, like, a block away. I'm like, get back here! I'm going to answer your question!
Oh, my God! What the hell?
It was so ridiculous. And then her friend looks at me, and she's like, I'm so sorry. She's so drunk. She goes, but if you want to go to the bar, it's down the road. It's right there. I'm like, thank you. Goodbye. So,
were you, like, not mad now?
No, I didn't care. I wasn't mad. What was I going to do?
But, I mean, no, when you were initially like, what? I mean, I know the what.
You know what?
Jamie,
here's the problem.
I know the what.
Here's the problem.
You were with your husband. You're so territorial.
No, it wasn't like that at all. In fact, they were talking. It was like I was kind of straggling behind a little bit because I was just walking and kind of looking around.
Right.
I was looking at something. Actually was walking with Greg, I think. And so, and I'm like, what? And the thing is that I'm a bitch by nature. And I don't mean to be that way.
Yeah, right.
But it just happens because I get very defensive because I'm like, I'm on the street. I've had some cocktails.
I don't know you.
This is a pack of girls. For all I know, they could jump me in a minute.
Oh, right.
And I need to be prepared. I'm always prepared for something. And so I'm like, what? And I'm like, because if you demand my wallet or something, I'm going to have to kill you,
Well,
so I don't know.
For God's sakes, Jamie.
It was late. I couldn't help it.
It's the rich Okay, anyway.
I don't know if she was rich or not. So we go to the Napa bar.
Everyone there is rich.
I don't know, man.
Jamie, the rooms are no less than like $600 a night no matter where you go.
It was not like that when we went there.
Yeah, well, they are now. We were looking and Jerry's like, there is not a room cheaper than like $1,000 a night. I'm like, that's just how it always is.
Well, they just opened up.
And it's the high season.
It is the high season. So anyway, we go to this bar, and we walk into the restaurant. She's like, we're closed, we're not serving. And we're like, oh, we just want cocktails. She's like, oh, come on in. So we went in, sat at the bar. Dwayne was our bartender. He was amazing. And so
Dwayne.
Unfortunately, just like I always do, I had one too many cocktails.
Oh, crap. You were having fun.
Everybody did, though. And so finally...
Oh, for sure. Even Daryl?
Oh, yeah. All four of us.
Well, and you weren't driving, and you were at your hotel.
We were walking, and Glenn kept going. Glenn kept going, I'm a Chablis whore.
That was like the phrase of the night.
We were laughing. He's like, hit me. And Greg finally goes,
what's Chablis?
It's white wine.
Oh, okay.
He likes any white wine, actually. Chardonnay whore. And so finally he said, hit me. And Greg finally goes, Glenn, really? You have to stop. As he's slurping down his third, whatever. Well, there was a bridal shower party behind us, like a bachelorette party. There was like 12 girls.
For the love of God.
And so we're sitting there.
I'm already annoyed, and I'm not even there.
The bride is passed out.
Oh, geez.
She's totally passed out.
This reminds me of an episode of Below Deck, I'm telling you.
And I turn around, and I look. Like I said, I don't know what was my problem, but I turned around to Greg and go, look at those girls over there. I go, they have the worst hair ever. He goes, let me see. Turns around and goes, God, you're right. He goes, well, that one's not too bad. I go, yeah, I saw her. I'll give her a pass. But the rest of them are terrible. I go, you could make so much money. And he's like, you're right. So then, out of nowhere, Stephanie.
Somebody heard you?
No. We're just having a great time. Now, as most people know, very attractive gay men attract girls. They flock to them. And that happened all night, by the way.
Right.
And so this girl walks up, and she's kind of ratty looking, but it's a late night. We ultimately found out they're from New Jersey, so it's like 3 a.m. for them at this point. So
they probably smoke cigarettes.
Exhausted.
Yeah.
There's no smoking in there. Anyway.
Not in there, but I'm saying they're from New Jersey.
Perhaps. So she walks up, and they're young. They're probably like 23, 24 years old.
Oh, maybe they're
pretty
rich.
young.
Like, how are they there? Yeah.
You just save up and you go. But anyway.
It's very expensive to go from New Jersey to California. Napa, no less.
You can go via Spirit Air or something, I'm sure. I don't know. Anyway.
People who go and stay in Napa overnight are not flying Spirit Air.
Anyway. So she walks up, and she's completely commandeering Greg and Glenn, and she's like, la, 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 talking. So Greg, all I hear Greg say, and out of the peripheral, her arms look weird to me. Like, they're fluidy. Like, they're very fluid.
Well,
like,
drunk,
the way she's moving around, I'm like, maybe I've had one too many cocktails. I had 2 gin and tonics on top of...
She's like a marionette.
Copious amounts of wine. Like, I'd had way too much to drink. And I'm like, this second gin and tonic is hitting me, because now I'm starting to see things.
Hell yes.
So, all of a sudden, I hear Greg go, oh, yeah, like a 3-finger discount. And so then... Because, now the term is 5-finger discount when you're stealing something. Right.
I was like, wait a minute.
But they were just having a discussion about something. He goes, oh, it'd be like a 3-finger discount. Stephanie?
What happened?
I turn because I hear him say that. She solemnly stands there, brings up both of her hands, and she has 3 fingers on both hands.
Oh, my God!
And that's why her arms looked weird.
Well, wait, what? How would her arms and her fingers look weird?
Because she was moving them around in my peripherals. I'm like, why do her hands look funny? What? I didn't look. And then she lifted them up and she wiggled them at Greg's face. And he's like, oh. And he's like,
was he kidding? Like, he
didn't even know. He's like, she goes, the term is 5-finger discount. He goes, oh, yeah, you're right. And then she's like, la, 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 la. And I'm like, holy shit.
What is happening?
It was crazy. It was crazy.
Who does that happen to?
Us.
Why does she only have 3 fingers?
On both hands. I don't know.
I'm going to start coughing. God, I can't.
The 6-fingered lady from New Jersey. And I'm like, what?
Oh, my God.
And so I'm like, oh. And I was like, Craig. I thought he did it on purpose, but he didn't. He did not.
He must have been mortified.
No, we were so wasted. No one cared.
I know, but
and so he's like, oh, he's like,
I hope she was wasted.
She laughed, and she's like, whatever.
Like,
and
who knew?
And she's like, anyway, I better go. Bye, everyone. And we're like, bye.
She waved for 3 fingers.
She waved us off. I go, and he turns to me. He's like, what the fuck? And I'm like, Greg. I'm like, what the fuck? He's like, I think we have to go.
Yeah, for sure.
Bartender bagged up he gave us little mason jars, and he bagged up our cocktails.
Did he know you guys were guests?
Yes. We went upstairs, went into the Greg and Glenn's room. We sat out on there were little decks there, and we just sat there and talked for like another 2 hours. And then finally we went to bed at like 2 a.m. We went to bed, and I woke up every half hour, and I got up and I just puked. I threw up so much. I'm like, that was a mistake, but I threw up, and I felt better. I felt better. Daryl never did. So he was struggle busting. So it was like I woke up like every hour.
Water?
We did drink water. That was the thing, but it wasn't enough.
Sometimes it doesn't matter.
No.
But
so finally, we had.
It's because you were mixing gin and wine.
We had a tasting scheduled for 10:30.
Oh, geez.
The next morning.
Everyone's like,
at Domaine Carneros.
Oh my
for
God,
champagne,
which is so amazing.
In the VIP section.
Jamie, you took me there, and it was like the best thing that's ever happened to me.
So I wake up, and I look at the clock, and it's 9 o'clock, and I go, there is no way.
Everyone's like,
I'm going to be able to do this. Like, how are we going to do this? So suddenly I'm laying there going, oh my God. And all of a sudden, you know when you're sleeping and the phone rings and you have to try to make it sound like you weren't sleeping?
You're like, hello?
Yeah, you know, you make that sound like, you like, oh, good morning. You know, that weird, you like overdo it.
Well, you can make, you try to smooth it out.
All of a sudden, out of nowhere, I hear this, hello, Andrea. I was wondering if I could move my reservation to noon. And she's like, absolutely, Mr. Miner. And he's like, thank you. Oh, and he just like put the phone down. Texted Greg really quick, and Greg's like, thank you so much for doing that.
Was it Saturday?
It was Sunday.
Oh, so you were going home that day?
Yes, but we were going to do one final tasting and then go home.
Yeah. No, that's cool. But for me, I'm always like, how long do we have in the room?
So we all were struggling. And so they were downstairs at like 11, and they go, we're downstairs, we're at the bar trying to get a hair of the dog.
Yeah, no, it works sometimes.
And I said, okay. So we took showers, got down there, and I'm like, man, this is going to be rough. So we get down there, and
a Bloody Mary or water.
Excuse me. Glenn was like, we should have had Bloody Marys, but we didn't. They had champagne. Mimosas. So we get to Domaine. It's lovely. We have a lovely table. We got caviar and charcuterie and cheese, and we had a bunch of different champagnes, and it was lovely, lovely, lovely. So then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it got really, really quiet, and Glenn goes, I want to go home. And I said, me too.
He's pickled.
Yeah, so we just were like, all right, everyone.
We're just over it.
He's like, I need to take a nap really bad. And so we just got up.
Is Greg the driver?
Yes.
Of the two? Yeah.
Yes. So we all went home. And Stephanie, it took me almost 3 days to fully recover from that. Eesh. It was severe, but I had such a blast.
Well, I'm glad you had a blast.
We had so much fun. And I mean, just too much fun, but it was so fun.
That's why we do this. We were talking about this a couple shows ago.
Yes.
I guess it was your turn.
It was. And so the thing that sucked about that was I had my appointment at the Botox place.
Oh, for the love of God.
On Monday. So I was still, first of all, I looked wrecked. And I mean, my skin looked like shit because I was still dehydrated. Of course. I wasn't hungover anymore, but I still did not feel good. Your body
was still recovering, yeah.
So I looked bad. And I'm like, you know what? If this is not.
I'm not an alcoholic.
That's exactly why I said that. But
she's like, well, you smell like a distillery.
But what's funny is I'm like, PSA to myself, this is what you look like when you're hungover, honey.
Don't do it.
So let's keep it down to a minimum. So I told Daryl, he's like, hey, you want a cocktail? It was like a couple days later. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? No.
So is that why you've been sober?
Yes.
I'm like, I'm not doing that ever again. I'm not doing that.
I mean, I need a minute. Yeah. And so, so I had like a very tiny cocktail like a week and a half later. And I've had a glass of wine since then, and that is it.
You know what's funny is when I've done that, and then when you do finally drink something, I was like hammered.
Your tolerance is like 0.
I was like, oh my God. I was like, I should do this all the time.
Is this what it feels like to be 21 again?
I know.
Or 15?
Seriously. Yeah. I hate being the one that when I go out with my girlfriends, which is so rare, but when I do, they'll drink like one cocktail or a beer and everybody's buzzed. I'm like, that's cute. I was like, I have to have like at least 2 before I'm really feeling buzzed.
It's true. It's so true. Anyway, so
and no one ever knows. They're like, God, you seem so normal. I was like, I was fucking hammered. They're like, you didn't even act like it. I'm like, well, you know, seasoned.
I'm a veteran. Anyway, all right, moving on to something.
Yeah. Free Britney.
Now, I have spoken on this show about Britney Spears for years because I'm a huge fan, and I think she's been done dirty since almost the beginning of her career. Yep. I remember when people were just filleting her online when internet was a new thing.
I remember too.
The paparazzi wouldn't leave her alone. Her family, I mean, forever. And I always felt like this girl could not get a break.
No, I know.
Never.
I mean, as successful as she is, and she is.
Very.
But yeah, she has not been treated fairly in the media forever.
Britney Spears is bipolar.
Yeah.
And as someone who knows very intimately what it is like to have someone in your family bipolar, it is a significant disorder.
Yeah.
It is something that requires intense medications and therapy and it's just a lot, but it's not something that will paralyze you from life.
No.
A lot of people are bipolar.
It's just a lifetime maintenance.
It's like having, the way I've always explained it to people, like our mom, who's not real educated about the way we deal with mental health now, is you have to treat mental health diseases or disorders like diabetes.
Right.
It's something you will always have. There's nothing you can cure it, but there's a million ways to maintain and keep yourself as healthy as humanly possible. It's a lot of work, and some people just get tired of it, and they don't want to do it. Well, just like anything, and you can ask any therapist, they'll tell you, most people who address their mental health issues right away, at some point decide they don't want to do it anymore.
Right.
My son is a perfect example.
Yeah.
He turned 18 and said, I no longer have to do what you say. I'm no longer taking these medications.
Right.
A year later, he was right back into therapy and trying to fix the year of chaos.
Damage. Yeah, right.
It happens.
Yeah.
Well, for some reason, Britney Spears ended up in a conservatorship.
Yeah.
And those are very rare. They're not normal.
From what I understand is because she's so incredibly wealthy.
Yes.
And because she's bipolar, she was being hugely taken advantage of.
She was.
In life. Like in business, by her friends, by everybody.
So
and had no ability to control what was happening because she was so ill.
When I think back about all of the things that she was doing under this conservatorship, I feel like I feel so much rage for this woman. Yeah. We saw her in concert.
Yeah.
Almost 10 years ago or 10 years ago.
Well, it was, I was pregnant with Jeff.
Yeah, so 10 and a half years ago.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
10 years. She was under her conservatorship on tour.
She's been on it since, 2007?
13 years.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
She was on tour. She did the Vegas residency.
She did her residency, yep.
She was a judge on America's Got Talent.
Yeah.
She did 2 or 3 albums, which all went platinum.
Yeah.
This is not a person who doesn't have the ability to take care of their affairs.
Right, absolutely.
So
she is a money horse. For all the assholes in her life.
She said she's equivalent to being sex trafficked, and I 100% agree with her.
I agree.
What makes me even more furious is that it's her father's doing, who, by the way, is abusive, has always been abusive, was even abusive when they were little, to the point where she bought her mother a home that she lives in this day. Her father is absolutely forbidden from even walking on the property. She said, that is where you go to be safe, Mom, and don't ever. And they're divorced, obviously, now. But she bought her mom a house so she would be safe.
Right.
So it's like, now.
And how did he end up in charge? Well, I think she kind of let him in the beginning.
Well, she was so ill.
Yeah.
And she truly was.
Yeah, agreed.
That he took over her affairs. And now he's just loving it.
He makes almost $1 million a year being in charge of her affairs.
And
that's just his salary.
I read his salary was $100,000. Is it?
I thought it was like $600,000 or $700,000.
I don't know, but
you know what? I could be wrong.
Yeah, he's making money off of his daughter. He makes tons of money.
He pays for nothing.
No, he doesn't.
And he's rich.
And they've assembled.
Hasn't done a damn thing but live off of his daughter.
And they've assembled this evil team of her old management. Current management. I assume that when things are all said and done, they will no longer be her management, but her management. Her dad, she didn't even get to pick her own attorney.
I know.
Now, I don't know if you heard any of the audio from the hearing.
I read the transcripts.
Okay, I listened to it live streamed. I listened to it. Somebody leaked it on Twitter, and I started listening to it.
Well, I know it's out there, but I read it.
It wasn't supposed to be. It was supposed to be not.
Well, now they're saying they're going to seal everything now. But
well, go ahead, but we already know.
But I think she wanted people to hear.
She wanted everyone to hear it. And so maybe, who knows, but the audio got out. We all listened with bated breath, and we all heard how she's had an IUD that she can't get out because no one will let her. They won't let her go to the gynecologist. They won't let her restain her cabinets. They won't let her be in the car with her boyfriend.
I know, I don't get that.
They are controlling everything she does. The reason she's not working is because she's like, no, I'm not working.
I'm not making money for you assholes.
I'm like, this is a coherent, almost 40-year-old woman who has no control over her own body. Stephanie, this is unfucking believable.
Well, I think
the fact that it's at her family's hands makes me want to vomit. Her sister tried to get in control of this thing. I'm like, okay, her father's abusive. He's a horrible person.
Yeah.
And for some reason, the mom isn't doing shit about it.
Yeah. Well.
And the daughter, I'm like, what is happening?
Maybe the mom's like a victim too.
If my sister, first of all, my sister would never do that to me.
This wouldn't happen. Yeah.
Never in a million years. If God forbid, our father
somehow
in control,
got into a position,
it would be over before it began.
Absolutely.
There is no way. And so, but the thing is the thing that actually made me the maddest was that she did not know that she could have filed to end this conservatorship at any time.
Yeah.
She didn't know.
Well, because they told her. She's there's nothing you can do. Yeah.
When she said, when the judge told her that, and she's like, and then that fucking attorney that represents her dad said, she's always known that she could file and end this conservatorship at any time, and she hasn't done it. She's like, I did not know I could do that. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I was outraged.
Yeah.
Outraged. I'm like, this poor girl has been lied to, manipulated, no privacy. They put her on lithium, Stephanie.
I know, she told me. She told me. I was reading it, and I was like, oh my God, yeah.
All I know
is like, I couldn't even have a conversation with people. I was so fucked up.
I want someone to step in and do something.
Do you think I think something's going to happen.
Now that it's out there, these people can't possibly.
Well, here's the thing. The judge did make a ruling that I really was pissed off about earlier. It was like,
this current one?
No, not the hearing. But it wasn't that long ago.
No, it was less than a year ago.
Yeah, and basically, it was they not kept in her favor.
I know.
Like, she wanted to switch the conservatorship. She's like, look, if I have to be in this thing, I just at least don't want my dad in control of it.
Yes.
I want to choose the conservatorship.
And the company. They put a temporary Jody something. It was the temporary co-conservator with this other company, but he's back in control again.
He is, yeah.
Yes.
So that's why I was like, how is this happening? Like, who's this judge? If it's the same one.
Although they were saying she had dementia, Stephanie. They said she had dementia.
Well, one of the things I heard her say was like, they want me to have a psych eval in order for
she's like, I'm
not doing that.
She shouldn't have to.
And she shouldn't have to. And I'm just like,
she goes to therapy twice a week. And I'm like, you know what? And why isn't the therapist saying something?
Right.
Why isn't the therapist going, she's fine, you guys.
She's fine enough to run her own life, spend her own money.
I have said this before. Kanye West is a raging bipolar, unmedicated individual with $1 billion minimum to his name, running for president, creating churches where idiot celebrities show up.
He has 4 minor children that he has custody of. Well, half.
He has the ability to see his children whenever he wants. And I'm like, and this poor girl, who, by the way, would be worth $1 billion if she was not being held prisoner.
Yeah, for sure.
Is unable
she was almost
to do
worth
anything.
$1 billion at some point. I think she's probably not worth as much now because she hasn't been working, but
women's rights.
She has a ton of money.
Mental health abuse. I mean,
how is this even happening?
And here's what.
And this is all in an LA court?
This is what's disturbing, and yes, this is what's so disturbing. There are people right now in conservatorships who are equally as sane and equally as capable who cannot get out of them because they're not Britney Spears. If Britney Spears cannot get out of a conservatorship,
no one can.
No one can. Yeah. And I'm just, I was telling Joe because I went off on a tirade.
She needs, lawyers.
She needs Gloria Allred.
Something.
She needs, and I mean, no one listens to our show of any importance. I mean, you're all important. That's not what I mean.
I know what you mean.
I want Lady Gaga, Taylor Swift, Jennifer Lopez. I want these girls, these women, these strong-ass women.
Well, there's a bunch that are coming forward.
Kelly Clarkson and Reba McEntire, you all have been fucked over by people. Yeah. Find out how to get to her and give them your representation so this girl is protected.
Yeah.
Because these people, she's been taken advantage of because when you're dealing with fame, I mean, it wasn't sudden, but she worked really hard. But her parents were in control. They are not.
Well, she's a Disney baby.
Yeah.
She was on the Disney Mickey Mouse Club when she was 11 or 10.
I just don't get the impression when, and this is this may sound like a reach to some, but it's like these are people, very simple people who came from Louisiana.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know what their education level is, but when you get into the world of entertainment,
oh God,
the sharks come out, man.
Oh, absolutely.
And they've been taking advantage of her since the beginning, probably.
Yeah.
And I mean, even Kevin Federline, that big fat fuck who's been sitting on the sideline, not saying or doing anything.
Why would he?
Just collecting his fucking
He's never had to work
child
a day in his
support
life since he met her. Yeah.
He couldn't even stand up and say, she's fine, you guys. What can I do? Like, no, nothing. Her kids are outraged. They're just like, our mom is cool. You guys are assholes. They hate their grandfather. And so I'm like, why is anyone taking any of this? And so the judge, I don't know if you heard this part or read this part, she's like, I want out of it today. And the judge goes, unfortunately, there's paperwork that has to be filed. I can't just say you're out of it. Unfortunately, that's not how this works. She did not know that, which means her attorney's doing her no
that's
service.
What I'm saying. Like, what is up? Like, why doesn't she not have like a team of attorneys who know the law and all that?
Because her conservatorship does not allow her to pick her own attorney. They assigned her attorney to her. And so he goes, in the thing, he goes, I am happy to step back and let my client, but I strongly suggest she stay with our firm.
Oh, of course
and I'm like,
do.
You motherfucker, you disgusting motherfucker.
You money-hungry pig.
How much an hour are you getting paid to sit online and listen to your client?
And of course, if the father's in control, why wouldn't he want the father to win?
Yeah.
He's like, well, this guy's just going to keep throwing money at me no matter what.
My retainer is...
Everything.
Yeah, everything. So I'm like, I want her out, and I want someone to swoop in and go, Britney, trust, I got your back, girl. Taylor Swift is probably, her and Jennifer Lopez, those two women specifically, they have their shit in a row, man. And they could let us show you how to do this. Enough already. This poor girl has been through it.
Yeah, but they don't have mental health issues either.
It's not about that.
I know it's not about that.
It's about management. I mean, the management team needs to come in, and
but
it has to be someone she can trust.
Now she has to figure out how to get out of the conservatorship so she can get those
That's what I'm
people.
saying. That's what I mean.
Right now they control her. So
I'm hoping that an attorney will step in and somehow...
I'm hoping the judge will step in.
Well, I think the judge did, because what happened was she said, well, apparently I have been notified that this is live streaming and it needs to end immediately, and then the sound just ended.
How do people... Oh, my God.
So we have no idea what she allowed or what she said would happen.
Right.
But all I know is before it got cut off, she said... It sounds like there's some urgent medical issues that need to be addressed today. So she's going to get...
So you can get your IUD out?
Yeah, which is probably way old, by the way.
Well, she said that she wants to marry Sam Ashigari.
She wants to get married, and she wants to have children.
They've been together forever. Yeah, I mean, and she's 39. It's like time is ticking.
She's going to be able to have one more baby, probably.
Poor thing.
I just hate it. And she's like,
it's
I can't.
So heartbreaking.
She was in AA, and she was cut off from her support group there in AA, so she's not been able to go to AA meetings. She doesn't even get to talk to probably her sponsors.
That's why she does these things on Instagram.
That's why she looks the way she does.
And that too, she's miserable.
She's a prisoner.
Yes, she is.
I am outraged, Stephanie. I have never been so angry about someone I don't know in a very long time.
Yeah.
This is unfathomable to me. Unfathomable. And all I told Daryl, and I almost started crying in the car, and I said, when that Free Britney concert comes around, you better fucking believe I'll be there.
Yeah.
And I will be there. I will buy all her shit. I will pay.
I'll buy a freaking Britney Spears t-shirt.
I'll buy extra tickets. I said, I cannot wait for that day, because it's going to happen.
It will happen.
It will happen, and they'll call it the Free Britney Tour, and it will be glorious. And it will be the biggest women's movement, mental health, everything. It'll be like fucking orgasmic, and I cannot wait. Britney,
we love you, girl.
Oh my God. Anyway, all right, moving on. Free Britney.
Please free Britney. Jesus, Lord have mercy on me.
Please. Let's do our ugly and awkward moments of the week.
Have one, but
I do.
I know you do.
Okay, so we'll just do mine.
I had a very low-key week.
This is really funny, and you're the only one, and people who listen to the show will find it funny. And Daryl found it funny, too. So we were sitting out in our little deck area. We have these two little snuggly chairs that we sit in almost every night. And we're just sitting there listening to music and talking. And Daryl was trying to tell me about this long story about how when he was a kid, this girl sang a song at the summer camp or whatever, and he's like, oh my gosh. He goes, and then I heard the song on the radio the other day, and I'm like, and it immediately reminded me of that memory, and it was so crazy because he doesn't remember anything. He has the worst memory ever. And he had tried to tell me about it earlier in the day, but something happened and we got distracted. He goes, yeah, anyway. And I go, oh yeah, you're going to tell me about that you were going to tell me about that song that elicited a memory for you. And he goes, oh, yeah, right. I go, was it Mr. Bojangles? And he's like, his face, he's all, Mr. Bojangles. I go, yeah. He goes, no. And it was like, when
what
the lights,
hell?
He goes, when the lights went out in Georgia or something. And I'm like,
God.
oh. And I'm like, he goes, Mr. Bojangles. I'm like, Fatal Attraction? It was so funny.
Indecent Proposal?
Yeah, was it an indecent proposal? Like, with all the conviction that of it is. I'm like, oh, Mr. Bojangles. He's like, no.
He's like, where the hell did you pull that out of your ass?
And it wasn't even that lights went out in Georgia. I don't even remember the song now.
I have no idea what it was.
Bojangles. Jesus Christ. Is
that the name of a circus monkey or something? Or is that a real song?
Mr. Bojangles dance, da-na-na-na-na-na. No? Okay,
No.
well, anyway.
I mean, maybe I would know it if I...
You would. It's very
Yeah.
old. It's 70s. It's very old.
That's
and I don't even know why I don't even know why I know that
Well,
song.
so is there more to the story?
No, that's it.
Okay, so I did just think of something. It's not really awkward. Well, I don't know.
Other than me telling the facial doctor that I'm not an alcoholic.
Right, I would totally do that.
Which is really awkward.
I absolutely would do that. I have done that. I told my boss that once.
Why would I say that?
I said it in front of my bestie. We were in his office and we were talking about something and I cannot remember what it was. And I was like, by the way, I just want you to know, I go, I don't get beat up by my husband and I'm not an alcoholic. Now, I cannot remember what we were it wasn't like I was completely off topic and just said that. But my friend Veronica, she just started laughing. She's like, oh my God, why?
Why can't you just shut up?
I was like, I don't know. I just
my
didn't want him to think that I had like those kind of problems. I was like,
Christ.
oh, I think we were talking about my FMLA and why, because I have female issues.
Yes.
And I don't want to tell him that I hemorrhage like a gunshot wound every month.
Yeah, it's like, that's none of your
She
business.
keeps telling me, she's like, just tell him, Stephanie. That way you can he doesn't have to always wonder why you have FMLA.
It's none of his business.
I know it's none of his business,
It's called
but
HIPAA. Look it up.
But she was like, but I'm always like, I just think he doesn't believe me. Like, he thinks it's some made up, oh, I have anxiety or something. I'm like, no, it's legit. But I can't tell you what it is because it's something really embarrassing. Yeah, like, and you're a guy and no. So she's like, just tell him. She's like, that'll shut him right the fuck up.
Well, that's true.
And that's what she said. She's like, who cares? She's like, you're not embarrassed. I'm like, no, I'm not.
I would be like, you know what? It's like a tampon doesn't do it for me. I literally hemorrhage out of my vagina.
That's what she wanted me to tell him.
Yeah,
because I had to leave one day because I had soaked my clothes.
I would have told him.
So anyway, this has nothing to do with that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
No, I don't even know why I said that.
Sorry,
but
awkward
I
moment.
was sitting on the couch watching a cooking show. No, it wasn't a cooking show. It was Katie Lee's Beach Bites, which is basically an old ass show that they show reruns on occasionally, where she goes to these tropical locations, beach places, and samples the food that's really popular. Okay,
all right.
So she goes to San Diego, she goes to the Bahamas,
Right.
okay. So we were watching this one. She's in the Bahamas.
Okay.
She's eating beachside on a table on the beach, and they bring her a whole fish and some plantains, fried plantains.
Okay.
Okay, now I've never had a plantain in my life.
Me neither.
I know what they are.
I think, maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I know what they are, and supposedly what they kind of taste like or whatever, but I really, fuck, I've never had a plantain. So we're sitting there and I'm watching. Now, Jerry has been on my last nerve for like the last couple days, just because, not in a bad way as far as like him being a dick or anything, annoying. Yeah. Like, you're annoying me beyond what I can tolerate.
I called Daryl an idiot yesterday. I get it.
Yes. So
he's like, I'm an idiot. And I'm like, hardcore.
And we stand by our
And I was mad
insults.
for a very long time.
Yeah. So we're sitting there. I'm watching the show. I was probably already a little annoyed because we had watched the show earlier that day that he wouldn't shut up. He kept asking questions, and I was already irritated, but I didn't say anything because I was like, "You're being unreasonable, Stephanie. This is not a reason to be mad." But inside, I was like, So we're watching Kathy's Beach Bites, and he's like, "A plantain." He's like, "What do those taste like?" He's like, How do they do? And I looked at him, I go, what am I, suddenly the plantain expert? I go, have you ever seen me eat a plantain in the 30 years that you've known me? No! I've never had a plantain! Oh my God! He's like, God, why are you such a smart ass? He gets up and he storms off, and I'm like, we were mad at each other for a plantain for like 2 hours.
That's hilarious.
I was literally in the shower steaming because after he stormed out, I stormed out. I went into the shower. Yeah, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm that angry about a plantain. I was like, what the hell? I was like, okay, you know what? I need to get out of the house. I was like, this is ridiculous. I can't, So later on, when he was asking me something, I go, I'm not the shell answer man, all right? I don't know everything.
The shell answer man? Oh my God, that's a pullback from
I know, right?
the historical vault.
True,
That's
but
hilarious.
he can relate because he's old.
Sure.
Once I said that, he's just like, fine. fine. I'll never ask you anything ever again.
Never again.
If only that were true.
Lies.
But that's a lie.
All right. Anyway, all right. Well, that's the show, everyone.
Oh, yay.
And we will be back with a new show next week.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.